Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth, another podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. My name is Dr. Lesley Phillips, and I am your host.
What happened to Corey?
And yes, Corey's here too.
How quickly they forget.
Yes. And on today's episode of Unlocking Your Truth, we are going to talk about metaphysics and spirituality, as we usually do. But before we introduce tonight's topic, I should just say that we are broadcasting live on 101.7 FM across the Fraser Valley. And we are actually broadcasting from the unceded territory of the Stolo Nation.
We sure are.
We certainly are. Well, if you are a new listener to Unlocking Your Truth, let me explain a little bit. It's a talk show. That means that you can call in and have a conversation with us, or you can actually watch the show and join in the conversation through our Facebook group. And we live stream on a Facebook group which is called Awaken Your Psychic Abilities. So if you want to see what we look like and what the radio studio looks like, then join that Facebook group. So today's topic, we thought an interesting topic to talk about might be manifestation. It's something that interests everybody, because everybody, whoever you are, there are things you want to create, there are things you want to have, and there are often things that you feel a lack of. And so let's talk about manifestation. And I wanted to do the topic of manifestation from a slightly different angle today, because we have talked about it before. And, you know, you can go to drlesleyphillips.com website, and you can go to the podcast feed. And if you search on manifestation, you'll probably get a few different episodes coming up. But one of the things that we've never exactly done is say, well, what does intuition have to do with manifestation? What is the connection between intuition and manifestation? And so I thought that would be a really cool thing to talk about this evening. And so anyone who is watching on Facebook, feel free to ask questions about manifestation. You can help us create the show that way. And if you are listening live on air, I'm going to give you a phone number. You can call 604-504-7441, extension 4142. That is 604-504-7441, extension 4142. You can also email info@drlesleyphillips.com, and Lesley is spelt with an EY, and Phillips has got 2 L's. All right, so listeners, you're listening to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and Corey. And
That's me.
And tonight we're talking about, what does intuition have to do with manifestation? And it has a lot to do with manifestation. So if we go through the different ingredients to successful manifestation, the first thing I would say is you have to know what you want. And a lot of people actually don't know what they want.
No, they don't. It is actually a really big thing. They just don't. How can we do manifestation all of a sudden? I guess I manifested it.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. No, you're right. People don't know exactly what they want. They want something or other, but they're not sure about how the something or other is.
Or they don't even know at all what they want. And so how can intuition help you with that? Intuition can help you to know what you want. What intuition does, amongst other things, helps you to know yourself. Opening your intuition helps you to know yourself, to know who you are, to know why you're here, and to be able to distinguish between what's my information and my energy and someone else's information and energy. And one of the main reasons that people who don't know what they want don't know what they want is because they have been programmed their whole lives by other people's ideas about who they are, about what they need, about what they should want, about what they should do with their lives. And I'm sure, you can all identify with that. If you think about your family, think about your parents and other people who have a big influence on you, they all have their own idea about who you are and what's best for you. And so if you have been inundated with those kinds of influences and you have not learned to distinguish your own mind, your own desires and your own needs from what the other people are projecting onto you, you'll be confused and you really won't know what you want. You might even think you know what you want, but it isn't really what you want, and you end up manifesting a life and things in it that really aren't yours. Have we got a question, Corey?
Yeah, we have actually a comment from Letitia. Letitia says, I actually feel guilty at the thought of manifestation. I'm interested in helping others and feel guilty thinking about manifesting things for myself.
Okay. Well, that's a good one.
That's actually pretty common.
Yeah, it's very, very common. So you feel guilty when you think about manifesting things for yourself. And so I have a lot to say about that, actually. I mean, one of the things is, and again, back to the influence of our upbringing, a lot of us are brought up to put everybody else first and to please everybody else and to put ourselves last in the queue. And that sounds like a nice idea. However, the end result of that is being very out of balance in terms of your giving and receiving. And so a lot of people, especially in the spiritual realm, are really out of balance on their giving and receiving. And so they're giving, and not receiving, not allowing themselves to have, manifesting on behalf of other people, but not on behalf of themselves. And that gets exhausting. That is depleting as opposed to energizing, and eventually there's nothing left in the tank. And so you kind of need to give to yourself first before you can give to others. It's this idea of don't give from a cup that is half empty already. Give from a cup that's overflowing. And they always say, don't they, when you're on the aircraft, please put your own oxygen mask on first, because if you don't take care of yourself first, you won't be there to take care of anybody else.
That's really true.
Yeah, so it is really important to allow yourself to manifest for yourself. And in actual fact, each and every single one of us is here on this planet meant to... We all have our own energy, and that energy is meant to be used to create within our own personal universe. So every single one of us has our own energetic space around us and our own energy to create with. Everyone does. So if you're creating for others and if you're being responsible for others, you are actually depleting your energy, and at the same time you are invalidating them and yourself, because oftentimes when we create for others or we take responsibility for others, we're saying, you poor thing, because you can't do it for yourself, so let me do it for you. That's disempowering. So when you see someone who you feel needs help, it can be disempowering. And also, it's also invalidating to yourself to say that you don't deserve, because you absolutely deserve. You're a part of God. You're a part of the whole creation that exists. And You deserve to have your own energy and manifest just like everybody else. Have another question?
Well, no, that's just a comment from Letitia again. She says, I do feel a hard time receiving. Oh, she says, I like how you put that. That is true.
Yeah. A lot of people have a hard time receiving, but it's really important for you to receive. And the other thing I will say about that, life on Earth is, there's polarity on Earth. There's yin and yang. And it's kind of like an adventure in polarity. And the name of the game is actually to come into balance. What a spiritual master is someone who's in balance between all of those different polarities. So neither too extreme on one side or the other, neither imbalanced on the giving or receiving, but having that polarity balanced, or any other polarity.
You know, what I would say to someone who says that to me, I would ask them, do you like giving? And most people who have a problem receiving do like giving. Well, how would you feel if the people you were giving to didn't want to receive what you were giving?
Yeah, you'd feel invalidated and worthless.
Or they feel guilty and about what you're giving them. It's all part of a circle. It's all part of a system. We give and people receive. People give and we receive. Because if we don't receive, people that are giving are losing that blessing as well. I mean, it's an old story. It's an old adage, but it's very true.
Yeah. So tonight, listeners, we're talking about manifestation on unlocking your truth, and in particular, what does intuition have to do with manifestation? We're saying, the first thing that has to happen for you to manifest something is you have to know what it is. Well, actually, I'm going to correct that. So I started off by saying you have to, in order to consciously manifest, you have to know what it is that you want to manifest. But we are actually manifesting all the time. Whether we're doing it, if we're not doing it consciously, we're doing it unconsciously. And what intuition does is it allows you to manifest consciously. Because in using your intuition, you get to know yourself, who you are, and what you want. And you also get to see what you've stored in your energy field. And I'm going to just make another point about that, because the law of attraction says you basically get what you are. So whatever energy, you're like a little signal. You're like a little antenna beaming out a signal to the universe. And whatever energy is in your energetic field is the signal that is being beamed out. And because we live under the law of attraction, like attracts like, and whatever is the signal that you are beaming out is going to be what is incoming into your reality. And actually, that is helping you to know yourself, because whatever is showing up in your reality is a result of the energy that you're putting out. Yeah. And through the intuition, you can actually say, well, hang on a minute. Why am I creating this in my reality? What is it within my energy that is causing this to appear? Whether it is a pattern of lack of abundance, lack of love, or lack of something else, ultimately, you are responsible for whatever is showing up in your life. And if you are dissatisfied with what is showing up in your life, the way to change it is to become self-aware through using your intuition and to see what you've stored in your energy field that's causing what you don't want to appear in your life, to then use your intuition and ability to work with energy to change your energy and thus change the reflection that comes back at you.
So basically what you're saying is even people who think they're not manifesting are actually manifesting.
Yeah, we're
on
all
a continuous basis.
Is the difference is are you doing it consciously or are you doing it unconsciously?
We're all doing it.
And the path of the intuitive is
there.
to do it consciously. It's a spiritual path to become awakened, to become conscious, and to be in charge of your reality, as opposed to the default, which is it's happening. It appears to be happening to you, but it isn't. It's happening as a result of the energy that you're putting out. And if you're unconsciously putting that energy out, then you are not stepping into your power as a co-creator with source energy. As I said before, we're all co-creators with source energy. We're all fragments of divine consciousness, very, very powerful manifestors. When we believe we are, and when we realize we are. And I see, Letitia, you just made a comment, and that's exactly where I was going to go next. Because I talked about one of the first points about manifestation is you have to know what you want, but you also have to ask for it.
It's, a lot of people, when I talk to people about manifestation, a lot of people will say, oh, so my mother manifested that she got cancer. Well, yeah, in essence, she did. It was part of her design for this life.
Yeah, and let's talk. I'm going to make a note of that because there's a lot to say around that, and we should talk about that after the break. How come people manifest these terrible things, and surely it's not their fault. But just to finish off this segment before we go to break, Letitia, you're asking, to manifest, do we just ask? Asking is one of the things that we need to do. And, what do we mean by ask? We mean putting our intentions and our energy and even our visualization and our belief into, in a way, the signal that I was talking about, that you are beaming out of your energy field, you're asking. That's what's asking. And so if you take conscious control of that, then you can consciously ask for what you want. And the rate at which, by the way, it will manifest into your life is directly proportional to how much you're doubting or how much you're believing. So belief is another ingredient, and that was another point that I'm going to talk about when we come back after the break.
Which is almost now.
It's now. Yeah. Now is time for a break. So everyone, you're listening to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and with Corey.
That's me.
Yes, and tonight we're talking about manifestation and what does intuition have to do with manifestation? I'm going to put a few advertisements on and we will be back. Welcome back, listeners. You are tuning into Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and Corey on this November the 5th. That's an important date from my childhood, because in England we celebrate Guy Fawkes Night on November the 5th. Probably doesn't mean anything to most of our listeners.
Yes.
But
that must be why our beloved station manager, Aaron Levy's wandering the halls.
Is he really?
Yes, he's wandering our halls of the station tonight.
That's interesting. Oh. Well, anyway, listeners, Unlocking Your Truth is a talk show about manifestation. Tonight it's about manifestation. Normally it's about metaphysics and spirituality and anything under that general umbrella. If you're just tuning in tonight, we're talking about manifestation, and we're also as well as broadcasting on 101.7 FM across the Fraser Valley, we're also streaming on Facebook from our Awaken Your Psychic Abilities Facebook group. Yay! So let's move on a little bit on this topic of
asking.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So the next thing is, first of all, know what you want, and then ask for what you want. And that sort of segues to another thing that I was going to talk about, which is belief. Because a lot of people feel unworthy, feel like they don't deserve. And that might prevent them from asking, or feel like they can only have this much, and therefore what they ask for is this much. And so there's a limit on what they can allow themselves to ask for.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like asking, people ask, but in their heart they say, "Well, I'll never get that." Even though they ask for it, they just go, "But it'll never happen." At the same time, in the same breath.
So they're countermanding it. Yeah, I mean, and really all these things are kind of interchangeable. So maybe I'll list a few more things. You have to ask, you have to believe you can have it, you have to allow yourself to receive it and be able to hold on to it after you've received it.
You have to recognize. My big one is recognizing.
Yes, thank you.
You have to recognize when it comes, because, depending on how you ask, and will determine how it shows up. And it's very interesting. It's like that. So many times I've seen people ask for something, and it shows up, but they don't see it because it wasn't exactly the right color. And I guess the one big one is the love list. When you're making a list of all the things that you want your partner, your so-called love partner, to have when you meet them, and so this guy or this girl comes into your life, and they have 99 out of the 100. But guess what? Oh, it's not perfect because you're focusing on the negative one, that one thing that's different. But you probably weren't very clear and concise on that, or contradicted yourself. It's important to appreciate what it shows up.
Yeah, so maybe we'll talk about how to ask and how we ask.
Yes.
I mean, in a way, we talked about how we ask. We're asking all the time just by our energy, and so. And so you can use your intuition to get to know yourself and get to know your energy and make tweaks and changes, and to be able to be consciously asking.
Latasha wants to know, is it fake it till you make it?
Fake it till you make it.
No, you don't fake it.
You're doing it anyway, and you're being it anyway. Yeah. And so... But in a way, maybe there's a grain of value in that, because the other thing about manifesting is the more you go up the vibrational scale, the more likely you are to manifest positive things. Because if, for example, you're at the vibration of love, then that's a very super high vibration, and you will be an attraction point for love. But if you're at the vibration of fear, hate, pain, sadness, then those are lower vibrations. And so often, let's say we've got somebody who's very sad and depressed, and that person might feel like they're faking it to begin with until they change the pattern. And so I think that there is a grain of truth, for want of a better word, in what you asked about faking till you make it. Because I think vibrationally sometimes it's hard for people to go up to that really super high vibration that would result in, it's hard to jump all the way from fear to love, for example. But you can probably jump from, fear to anger to sadness to, and eventually at least get to hope. So yeah, fake it till you make it. So we're jumping around a little bit, but all of these different points are interrelated to one another. So we're talking about how to ask, and also how does intuition relate to the asking part of manifestation? Because your intuition allows you to see energy and work with energy, so you can create an energetic template for what it is that you are requesting from the universe. So a simple way of explaining that is visualization. So you could focus on and visualize what you want, and that is a form of asking. You're setting up a picture within your energy, and that's something that's being beamed out, for example. So you can ask by visualizing what you want, and also in visualizing what you want, climbing up that vibrational scale. And so thinking, like, how would I feel if I had this thing that I want? If I had the relationship I'm asking for, how would I feel? If I had the abundance that I'm asking for, how would I feel? And don't wait to feel it in the future, one day when it might happen, but feel it now, embody it now, because that's the point of power. The point of power is who you are now, what you're feeling now. And so what a lot of people will do is they will get stuck in this. I want abundance. I want abundance. But I'm not wealthy now. I need more money, but I don't have it now. I need more money, but I don't have it now. So what you're manifesting is a repeating pattern of I need more money, I don't have it now. Or I want a relationship, but I don't have one. I want a relationship, but I don't have one. What you're manifesting is a repeating pattern of that. So instead, it's like, okay, here's the picture of what I want, and this is how I feel when I have it now.
So let me ask you this question. I'm broke, okay? And I come around saying, okay, if I had money, I'd be happy. How is that going to? Does that help anybody, or is it just the reverse of what we want to do?
So if I had money, I'd be happy.
Or if I have, as soon as I make $1 million, I'll be happy.
Well, I mean, I was just saying, wasn't I?
Yeah.
That's if I had money, I'd be happy. That's projecting it as like it's saying I don't have it now, and I'm not happy now.
But
basically.
But see, what is in this case? What is the person trying to actually manifest? Money or happiness? When you think about it,
you'd have to ask the person, but happiness.
Yeah, I would think it would be happiness that they're trying to manifest, and money to them is the venue or the road to happiness. So think about that. If you do exactly what you're saying, if you just start being happy, then the money has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And guess what? The money will come.
Yeah, and that's actually what a lot of people do is they want to manifest money. Actually, and a relationship, both of those two things, because okay, if I manifest money, it will solve all my problems, or if I manifest my soulmate, it will solve all my problems.
Or weight loss. Weight loss is another big one.
Yeah, but no, it won't. Not unless you change your energy.
Yeah. That's what we follow. We follow this fellow Dr. Berg online on a keto diet. And his mantra is not don't lose weight to get healthy to lose weight. And if you think about that, there's a big difference between those two sayings. And that can hold true with anything that you want to manifest. Don't try to manifest money to be happy. Be happy to manifest money. Don't try to.
But don't be going, I'm being happy to manifest money.
No.
Be happy.
Just be happy.
Yeah.
Put that vibration out there. Don't. It's the same thing with love. If I met my love, my true love, I'd be happy. Well, be happy, and your true love will come. Don't wait for that thing to make you happy. Be happy, and that thing will come.
Yeah, and continuing to talk about asking for it and how to ask for it, Corey made a good point that often what we'll do is we'll package it up in expectations, and so we'll say it has to be exactly like this. Sometimes when people want to manifest a relationship, they'll say it has to be that exact person. And whenever you have an expectation of how it should look, you're putting limits on it. You're putting it in a box. And when you do that, you are limiting what the universe can deliver to you. And so it's important to yes, you've got to be able to visualize it on the one hand. On the other hand, let go of expectations as much as possible. I can see Natasha's written something.
Yes. She said, Natasha says, also, nothing I want is separate from me. I'm abundance, I'm love, I'm the perfect job, I'm the wonderful partner. It all comes to me because I release the desire. I do not attach myself to outcomes.
That's kind of what I was just saying. Very cool. Thank you, Natasha. Yeah, so now let's start to talk a little bit about beliefs, because Natasha's just given us a bunch of supporting beliefs, really. And our beliefs really, really play into this very, very strongly. Because if you want abundance, but you believe you are unworthy, you believe you can only have so much, then you won't get abundance. You will get, only having what you believe you can. And so let's see if we can come up with some beliefs. And actually, I should loop back into the theme, which is what's the relationship between manifestation and intuition. Developing your intuition helps you know yourself and helps you look at your beliefs, helps you look at how your energy field is constructed, it helps you look at the programming that you have received from your culture, from your parents, from your religion, from your peers, from your education. They all contribute to your belief system. In fact, they say that most of our beliefs are laid down by the time we're 3 years old. And so it's really important in manifestation to look at your beliefs and to deprogram all of the unsupporting beliefs. I mean, the other way that can happen is that you will, at a very young age, have a painful experience, a challenging experience, and then you will label that as what reality is, that reality is something to be afraid of, and then you're lowering your vibration. And so your intuition helps you examine yourself, helps you look at yourself, helps you look at your timeline and all the events and challenges that you've been through, helps you de-energize the vibrations within them that are not contributing to a positive experience of life and manifestation of your reality, helps you look at your beliefs, helps you look at the beliefs of all of the people who've been important to you in your life, and clear the ones out that are not yours or are not supporting you in any way. So I think
looking at me for?
Well, I think I might go to another break, and when we come back,
just a couple of minutes.
Well, and when we do come back after the break, we're going to talk about some other ingredients, and those ingredients are the ability to receive and have. Before we do go to the break, though, another thing that is important in manifestation, manifestation is not just about creating. It's actually about letting go as well. It's actually about breaking things down. So, for example, you could have in your energy field a bunch of things that you really thought you wanted when you were 5 years old, Let's be silly, like a pink fairy dress and a wand, And then by the time that you're...
I never wanted it, sorry.
By the time you're 40, that belief is outdated. And so it's important for us to let go of our old beliefs, to make space in our energy field for... our old desires, to make space for us to receive the things that we are wanting in present time. Because the things that you want during the course of your lifetime can change. I'm sure any of you can look at that and see that what I want now is not 100% the same as what I wanted. Just look at people who change their careers, who change their relationships. We're all changing all the time, aren't we? And we're all learning by what we create. We might think we want something, manifest it, live with it for a while, and then go, oh, actually I don't. In having that, I learned I don't want it. So now I need to let that go. And I've got this idea that there's something else that I want.
And the old adage comes in mind: be careful what you ask for, because you may just get it.
Yeah, exactly. So you're listening to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and with Corey. Tonight we are talking about manifestation, and in particular, what does intuition have to do with manifestation? We're going to go to a break and we'll be back after these few short messages. Welcome back, listeners. You're tuning in to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley and Corey.
Me.
And on tonight's show, we are talking about what does intuition have to do with manifestation.
And we have a question from
Tish.
And Tish wants to know, can we manifest better beliefs and better self-worth?
Absolutely, of course you can.
Next question.
Of course you can. And I often find myself saying that the path of the intuitive, which is a path of spiritual growth and evolvement, happens in parallel with healing. You can't have the one without the other. And what you're talking about is, can I heal myself? Can I evolve? And the answer to that is yes, you can. You can manifest. When we talk about manifestation, we often think about a physical thing, a car, a house, money. But you can manifest love. You can manifest changing your beliefs. You can manifest self-worth. You can manifest happiness. You can manifest anything that you conceive of, you can manifest. And in the conceiving of it, you're starting to actually give birth to it anyway. So yes, Tish, you can manifest better beliefs, and you can use your intuition to look at the beliefs that you have that aren't supporting you, to look at your self-worth issues and where they come from, and to also hand in hand heal the things that aren't supporting you and clear them from your energy, so that your vibration goes up, and so that what you're manifesting in your reality shifts.
Well, I have a great example of manifestation.
Okay.
So we moved into a new place, and we were redoing the kitchen. And so I said, well, we have to pick up. I said, let's put some money into about $700, which is a very small amount of money to put cabinets into a kitchen. So what we did is I went around. Guess what? Guess what I found a couple of weeks ago was all the cabinets, a whole bunch of cabinets for $650, and then when I went to the cash, they made it $550. And you know what? All the cabinets fit perfectly. It was amazing. Like they were made to order. That's called manifestation.
Yeah, listeners, share your manifestation stories with us. In the meantime, and actually that segues really nicely into the next thing about manifestation.
Does it?
Because some people are really, really great manifestors, but they don't allow themselves to recognize when it comes to them, or receive it when it comes to them, or have it and hold on to it.
Be thankful.
Yeah, actually I see there's another question from Tish. That's a good question.
Can we manifest for others?
So,
Can we manifest for others?
a very, very good question, Tish, and thank you for asking that. So remember earlier in the show I was talking about how you can think of yourself and your energy field kind of like a universe, a reality bubble. And that reality bubble is your personal private universe to manifest through. And that's meant to contain your energy. Your energy is not meant to be projected into another person's reality bubble. And so what you're talking about is creating through someone else's space, or using your energy to create for them. But the truth is, you have all the energy you need to create what you want, and they have all the energy that they need to create what they want. And it's not up. it's also not up for one person to decide what another person needs. So talking about manifesting for someone else, there's a question here is, are you deciding what you think they ought to want? Or are they telling you, and you know that's what they want? But even then, if you manifest it for them using your energy, then you are invalidating their power and ability to manifest it for themselves. And it's not possible to want something without having the power and ability to manifest it. So that person who wants something has the capacity to do it. And if you're doing it for them, you're helping them to be disempowered, and you're draining your energy, which is meant to be used for you. The other point about that is, another thing that we'll do is we will go into someone else's space, and someone else's energetic space, and try to create through their space. And that is also something that is, I would say, it's not respectful of that other person's energy at all.
She says that makes sense.
I'm glad.
I have an example of that I find very interesting. If you look at pigs, right, and other creatures, they live in a pigsty, and it's muck and mud and everything, and oh, that's too bad. Look, those poor little pigs have to live in the mud. But if it weren't for that mud, they would get burnt. Their skin is very, very sensitive
light
to the
sensitive
sun, and so they love being in that pigsty. Because that's what they. Now, if you took them out of there,
gave them a wash,
inadvertently,
in the sun.
Yeah, you could be harming them.
Yeah, and also everybody evolves at their own pace, and so, I mean, this is where a lot of parents and have trouble, and is you can often we see someone, don't we, and they're manifesting a mess in their life. Some kind of mess in their life, and you go, well, I know what you need to do. I know what would work.
You got to be like me.
I can see what you're doing wrong, and I can see what you do. But that person is only going to get it, if that even is their answer, when they get it. And so it can be very, very tempting when you're able to see something that somebody can't see for themselves, to interfere. But your intuition can help you see where they are and accept where they are and back off and not try to change it, either by manipulating them in some way, or invalidating them by telling them that where they are is wrong, and that they should be somewhere other than where they are, and what they've manifested is wrong, and it should be different than what it is, because they are where they are. And it's really important, actually, for somebody who, talking about acceptance, if you're in a situation that sucks, it's really important for you to accept, I'm in a situation and it sucks. Because the more you resist it, the more you judge it, the less likely it actually is going to change. It's in the acceptance of this is my situation that one can step into the freedom to manifest something different. So
yeah, so it's like falling into the rapids. If you try to fight the rapids, you're probably going to drown. But if you accept the fact that you're in the rapids and just flow with them, you have a higher probability of getting out.
They'll take you into the shallows.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, analogy, the river of life. So we talked about how to recognize your manifestation when it comes. There's a really great story. I don't know where this story comes from, but it's about a flood. And a man climbs onto the roof of his house, and he asks God, save me from this flood. He's a very religious man. He's very, committed to his faith. And his neighbor rows past in a rowboat. Hey, Joe, jump on in. No, it's all right. God will save me. I've communicated with God, and He's going to save me. So the neighbor rows off, and then the next minute there's a helicopter, the search and rescue is dropping down a ladder. No, it's okay. I've spoken to God, and God is going to come and save me. And he's not recognizing that the neighbor in the rowboat and the search and rescue helicopter is God, or answering his question, is that manifestation coming back to him? So you have to be able to recognize, this is the result of the wish that I had, the desire that I had, the thing that I asked for. Here it is. It doesn't always look exactly like you might expect it to. And then you have to let yourself receive it. So there's a lot of people who immediately give it away to somebody else, They're great at manifesting money and abundance, but they spend it straight away, or it runs through their fingers straight away. Which is, it depends on how that's set up. For some people, so long as they're, flow and they're confident it's going to keep flowing, then that works. But, for other people, it's like, I get it and then I lose it.
Yeah.
Why does that happen?
Yeah, the thing is, what's true for someone else is not necessarily true for you. And I've got a great story.
Go ahead.
Okay, this little baby polar bear goes up to Mama polar bear and says, "Am I a polar bear?" And Mommy says, "Yes, of course you're a polar bear." Well, the next day, the little baby polar bear comes back and says to the Mama bear, "Mama, are you a polar bear?" And Mama says, "Yes." So the baby goes away, and next day comes back, says, "Mama, is Daddy a polar bear?" "Yes." Okay, so he goes away and comes back the next day. "So, Mama, I'm a polar bear, you're a polar bear, and Daddy's a polar bear." "Yes." "So why am I just so darn cold?"
I don't get it.
You don't get it. Listeners, Dr. Lesley never gets my jokes.
I don't get it. Why am I so darn... You're gonna have
Why am I so darn cold? He's a polar bear, but he's still cold. And just because you are a person with some variation in your life does not mean that you have to accept it. Never mind. I'm sure listeners, you get it. Shalonda says, LOL. There. Anyway.
Okay.
Tish says, "You're an amazing teacher that is always able to explain why we should do or shouldn't do certain things. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge."
Well, I would call it sharing my information, and I'd never tell you you should or shouldn't do anything. That's obviously, it's up to you. But I'm glad that my information is resonating with you. So we're in the last 6 minutes of the show, and let's talk about havingness. And actually we're going full circle to at the beginning of the show. So somebody asked a question about giving and receiving, and that being in balance.
Letitia says, "I get it."
Oh, good. I still don't get it. He's going to have to explain it to me in the car on the way home. So, havingness. Allow yourself to have and receive. Open your heart. Allow yourself to receive. The other thing is, we talked about raising the vibration. Amusement is a really, really great way to raise your vibration and be in that receiving mode and be in that having.
So when are you going to get a sense of humor?
I laughed.
No, but you laughed at me, not with me.
No, I laughed at not getting your joke.
Oh, I know.
So, listeners, you're listening to Unlocking Your Truth. We've been talking about what does intuition have to do with manifestation, and I would say everything. Intuition is how you get to know and understand yourself. It's how you get to know and understand your reality, and it's how you get to interact with that reality and make shifts and changes. And whatever form of intuition it is, intuition is I mean, it's basic. It's spiritual communication. It allows you to see your energy, to know your energy, to feel your energy, to tap into your beliefs and how your energy is constructed, and you get to be able to change that.
Yeah. And one big thing that you forgot to talk about is with manifestation is figure out what you want, ask for it, and then let go.
Yes, I didn't.
Don't try to control how it shows up, where it shows up from, and why it will show up.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Let the universe take care of putting it in your path.
Yeah.
Because too many of us try to control the outcome.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Letitia, I think, said something earlier about that. Don't control the outcome.
No, it's exactly right. Don't control it, because you are one speck of the cosmic consciousness, and the whole universe will configure itself to support you if you allow it to. But if you restrict it by having an expectation of how it should come and when it should come, then
keep it in mind, but don't try to control it.
Yeah. Ooh, another question. We might just slip that in before the end of the show.
Is manifestation something you should hold off on, or until your intuition is strong, or is it something we should do now?
So you don't become a good manifester by holding off until you've perfected yourself enough to become a good manifester. You'll basically learn by being and doing. And so I would say I would say go for it.
Yeah, manifest now.
Yes,
worry about it later.
Yeah, and it acts as a feedback mechanism, right? So you're going to learn all the time.
Yep. And now it's time to say goodnight to all our family.
Yeah, it's the end of the show. So we'll be back next week, folks. And thank you so much for joining Corey and I on Unlocking Your Truth.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips. For more information, go to our website at drlesleyphillips.com. That's drlesleyphillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. You can also find the questions that were asked during this show at the website on our free card reading podcast page, where you'll find a full list of them. Come back again.